Hey everybody, this is Kyle Sasser, and it's everyone's favorite time of the month, market statistics. So this is market statistics for Pinellas County for January 2019. My name is Kyle Sasser. I am a Tampa Bay native, also a realtor with Keller Williams over here in St. Petersburg. Every month, our lovely local real estate board, Pinellas Realtor Organization, they release some real estate statistics, which covers every transaction that has happened within Pinellas County in the last 30 days. A couple things you need to know about these statistics though. Number one, they do trail behind a bit. So this is January 2019 and I'm recording this in March. They trail behind about 30 days. It just takes them that long to get those numbers together, get everything compiled and in a nice pretty report like this. I'll be happy to email you a copy of this report and also all of the subsequent months. There's a link to do that below. You'll get them a few days before this video comes out. It just takes me that long to get the video together. The other thing to know is that these statistics are year over year, not month over month. The reason for that is because a normal 12-month year, so January, February, March, April, that naturally has a real estate cycle to it. So there's naturally months where homes are going to sell a little bit easier than other months. Here in Florida, we don't have the the ice storm winter months. So we don't really see that slowdown for weather like you do, like if you're up north or something like that. But we do certainly have a cycle, and it usually coincides with the school year. So, August, usually a little bit slower than other months out of the year. So these statistics are for January 2019, and they are compared to January 2018. And that just gives us a large enough time frame where we can actually see changes and make some estimations on what the market has actually been doing. So, two things everyone always wants to know is what are houses currently selling for? So we'll start off with median and average sales price. So a median price is basically where half of the market is above and half the market is below. So average is a little bit different. Average is you take all of the prices, add them up, and then divide them by the number of homes that sold. Most people know that one. But median it's a little trickier because it's basically the halfway point of the market. So median sales price means half of the homes that sold were more expensive and half were less expensive. So all that explanation aside, median home price in Pinellas County is currently at $250,000 for the entire market. That is an increase of 2%, which indicates that prices are still climbing, but probably median price is not climbing as much as it was. A year or so ago, we were seeing 13, 14%, which is bananas. Average sales price is currently at $366,000. The reason for that difference again is because average, that's going to be heavily weighted if a lot of high value properties sell, which in Pinellas County, we got a lot of beachfront, that stuff sells at a premium. $366,000 is a 13% increase, which is substantial. Last month's was not that large. So, basically, that is something that I have to keep an eye on for the next month or two to see what that trend is telling us. So far as the average sales price goes, if a $20 million home sells on the beach, but nothing else is really selling, that's really going to skew that number. So real estate moves slow. A lot of times we get the numbers 30 days late. A lot of times it takes 2 to 3 months to actually be able to tease out what the trend is doing. I know it's annoying, but it's the nature of the beast. The other ones I usually like to touch on, number of new listings are actually down 1.3%, which is, wiggle room. It's not really margin of error, but like in my mind it is. Anything like 1 or 2%, it's just kind of normal variance. Pending inventory is down, so that's homes that are under contract to be purchased. is down 10%. That doesn't necessarily mean that nobody's buying, because if there's less inventory, that number is naturally going to be lower because there's not as many homes for sale. Inventory was actually up 14% to 3,400 homes, roughly, which is good if you're a buyer. That means that there's going to be more homes available for sale. And again, we're looking overall at the market. I'm going to get into the specific price points in a couple minutes here. So total inventory up 14% to 3,400 homes. That's a big increase. It has been months and months and months of constriction on that, and the last few months we've seen growing inventory, which, like I said, if you're a buyer, it's good. And then a month supply of inventory, which is it's kind of a imaginary statistic. But basically, month supply of inventory means that if no new homes were to come on the market, how long, at the current rate of sales, how long would it take to sell through everything currently on the market? And that has gone up 19.2% to 3.1 months. So that means that inventory is hanging around a little bit longer. Sales aren't moving quite as briskly as they were a year ago. I can tell you they're still brisk. But the trend seems to be that things are kind of slowing down. Prices are not going up as much. That's the overall general trend. Now, the other thing to know about real estate is that it varies highly based on price point. So a $60,000 condo is going to sell a lot differently than a $1.5 million waterfront property. So just the buyer pool is going to be a lot different. People usually a lot more people can more easily purchase a $60,000 condo versus a $1.5 million house. It's just, it's a different market. So number of closed sales from $50,000 to $100,000 are actually down 43% to 21, which is crazy. Normally I wouldn't comment so much on a actual number that is that low, but the fact that it's down almost half year over year would either indicate two things. Either one, nobody's buying any properties under $100,000, which I think we can all agree is not the case. Or two, there's not a lot of stuff for sale under that price point. And similarly, with anything under $150,000, there's just fewer and fewer and fewer closed sales at that price. To be honest, that's just because there's not much in Pinellas County that is listed at those price points. Like there's practically nothing under $50,000. You would have difficulty finding even vacant lots. So the other one I like to take a look at is new listings by initial listing price. So this tells us how many houses in each price point have just become for sale on the market. And again, under $150,000, like 30 to 60% fewer houses, especially like if you're trying to buy something under $50,000, you're going to have a hard time. There was literally 2 properties in all of Pinellas County that sold for under $50,000. There's 37% fewer under $100,000 and 40% fewer in the 100 to 150. So just there are plenty of properties in those price points. They're not for sale. People are holding on to them. And then one interesting bump was right around the $250,000 mark. There was actually an increase in new listings, 10% increase to 210 new listings in the $250,000 to $300,000 mark, and that holds through most of it up to like $1 million. So if you're looking to purchase a house above $250,000, then your job's going to be a little bit easier than it was last year. There's more stuff available to choose from. And then total inventory for each price point was a little shocking. It's basically up across the board. I mean, it varies depending on price point, but roughly 15 to 25% more houses across the board, from $50,000 to $1 million. There's 15 to 25% more houses for sale January 2019 versus 2018, which again, good stuff if you're a buyer. If you're looking to sell your home, it's not necessarily a death sentence to the quote-unquote seller's market. And the reason why is because we've had such pent-up demand for so long that it's going to take a little while to burn through for the supply to overcome that pent-up demand. So if you're thinking about selling, now is a pretty great time. We're kind of doing one of these numbers where we've been going up, and now we've kind of leveled out. So yeah, so now would be kind of the last, like dinner bell, I guess you could say. The other thing everybody always wants to know is, hey, when am I going to be able to buy a house for 20 cents on the dollar? And for that, we take a look at the last page here, which is distressed properties. So this is going to be foreclosures and short sales. So total number of foreclosures in Pinellas County for January 2019, there was a total of 31. Which was a decrease of 8%, and short sales, we actually had an increase to 11. So that increase was 83%, which, would normally draw an eyebrow or two. But the fact that it was, the year before was literally 6, I don't know, to me that's not significant enough to give it any weight. If it does continue, I'll be sure to point it out in the next month or two. But if that jumps up to 100, 200, then we'll be like, hey, we got some serious financial issues going on here. But with it down in the 11s, it's not really anything to get worried about at this point. So that was pretty much the January 2019 numbers for Pinellas County. My name is Kyle Sasser, local realtor, Tampa Bay native. If you would like a copy of these statistics delivered to your mailbox every month, and I promise it'd be the current month, I wouldn't just keep redelivering January 2019 to you over and over again. So if you want the most current market statistics, there's a link below. Fill it out. I'll be happy to email those to you. You'll get them a few days before this video comes out. It's not that I'm lazy, it just takes a while to get all the images made and this video created, and not to mention actually thinking over what all this stuff actually means, because it's a whole bunch of numbers here. I'd love to hear what you think. If you think the market's going to collapse in the next 2 weeks, leave me a comment below. If you think the market's going to triple in 5 years, I'd also love to hear that as well. Leave me that comment below as well. I'd also like to ask for you to subscribe to the channel. I do one of these every month, and do some other fun videos, some house walkthroughs and other explanatory videos for what exactly a realtor does. So anyway, once again, my name is Kyle Sasser, and thanks for tuning in.